Okay, Sunday quarterback. Sean, let's unpack. There's a lot to unpack here. Let's talk about the same things that have plagued this team over and over again, the penalties and the turnovers. And that really was the story on Saturday. Do you agree?
Yeah, for really, Andy, this was a microcosm of all the things this team has struggled with all in one game. It all showed up today. The inability to stop the run at times, the inability to tackle, the inability to run the ball consistently, the inability to just finish games and execute in key situations, then turnovers, then penalties. All of those things showed up. They got Northwestern on a day where Northwestern did not show up. This was a game where you had Northwestern, who was emotionally drained, now their third straight overtime game in a row, and they were not up to their standard. And Nebraska could have finished them off. And I think that might be the most frustrating thing to any Husker fan is you had a chance multiple times, twice I would say, to knock them out, whether it would be going up 28-17, settle for a field goal, or even kicking a field goal or going up for a touchdown to go up by 10 or 14 points there in the fourth quarter.
You got to give Northwestern credit. They made the plays, but same token,
they forced Nebraska to make the plays.
Absolutely. And in that overtime, you just scratched your head about what was going on there.
Yeah, I went back and forth in my mind, like, is it a good thing Nebraska just lost this toss? Because if Northwestern goes down and scores, that pressure to me was going to be a lot. Because the way Nebraska unraveled there to end this game, I just didn't like the feel going into overtime, especially if Northwestern marched down and scored. And Bob Diaco's guys, they did man up there. They almost stopped them from getting in the end zone. But yeah, they gave up a touchdown. And I think that immediately put pressure on that first down call. Then the second down sack. Then your 3rd and 20 on the 35 in overtime. I mean, that is just not a winning situation, especially against a very good bend but don't break defense that doesn't allow very many plays over 20 yards.
Give me some positives.
The positives, I thought Marcus Newby played his best game of his career. Chris Webber, continues to play very consistent. We saw the tight ends get involved more. The throw to Jack Stahl was a great throw by Tanner Lee. Obviously, the interceptions are all you're going to want to talk about. But I thought the defense responded there in the middle of that game. It looked like they were done. Then the Kalu pick, the Newby pick, a couple of key stops. They got some good pressure. I thought the defense stepped up and kind of paved the way that allowed Nebraska to kind of take control of that game. And the unfortunate thing is they just couldn't do it.
Justin Jackson was terrific. He finished with 154 yards on the ground.
Did he graduate?
I know. He's Northwestern's all-time leading rusher, and he cannot go away anytime soon. Let's talk about where do you go from here. Obviously, you go to Minnesota. But, I mean, you got three games. You got 3 games left at Minnesota, the most winnable of the 3.
Yeah, in Minnesota, you just don't know what you're going to get. They've played everybody tight, but they've not won very many here down the stretch. So this is kind of 2 similar teams, I think, going in. But Minnesota in year 1, Mike Riley in year 3. So the narrative of both programs is different. And for Minnesota, they're going to feel like we're going to win this game. This is a game we have to win. And for Nebraska, you're like, what is the narrative now? Are we still fighting to get to 6? Is 6 realistic? Well, if it's going to be realistic, this is a game you have to win.
The vibe leaving Memorial Stadium.
Not good.
This is unlike I've seen in quite a while.
An apathetic feel as fans left this stadium on Saturday night. I mean, people were disappointed, but you know what? I'm not surprised. That was like the mentality. Like, I'm mad we lost, but I thought this was going to happen. I just felt like that was it. And if you're Bill Moose, you're in your mind saying, Mike, you're making this easy on me. I mean, your team should have been able to finish a game off like this in this situation at home with the way Northwestern teed it up for you. They teed it up for you to win this game, and you're not able to do it.
Yeah, tough afternoon here in Lincoln, Nebraska as the Huskers fall to Northwestern, and they are now 4-5 overall, 3-3 in the Big Ten. As we said, they will go to Minnesota next Saturday.